Hey, all. Welcome back. What's on Your Plate podcast. Here with you today, talking about what is on my heart, what is on my mind. I'm Sarah, your host. I really appreciate you all taking time out of your day to join me. It does not go unnoticed. There's been a hell of a lot of really challenging days lately. And the truth is, it's only going to get harder. I'm finding myself sort of in a holding place, an in-between, if you will. You've been there before too, I'm sure. I'm learning that you can be sad, overwhelmed, frustrated, and uncertain, and still be positive. Sounds crazy, right? But positivity doesn't mean you're constantly happy or even always looking at the bright side of things. Sometimes positivity is being in darkness and knowing that the farther you walk, the lighter it will become. It's moving forward even when you aren't sure where you're going. So that's where life is at right now. I'm embracing the mindset more and more of moving into the direction of uncertainty. If we just allow ourselves to lean in and to step forward, the big question marks in our lives often leads to great transformation of our souls. I'm going to give you 2 examples of this from my own personal life experiences. The first one dates back to 20 years ago. I found myself feeling unhappy, unfulfilled with my job choice of the moment. I liked the work fine. Retail management wasn't a bad gig to have, but I was really unhappy with the hours. The joke was, Sarah had to be home before the streetlights come on. I'm not going to deny it. It was pretty on point. I hated the late shifts. I've never enjoyed staying up late, not then and not now. Though ironically, I do more often than not stay up late these days, but that's on me. That's because I overextend myself. But I'm learning. Forever a work in progress. But back to the point here. I needed a change, but I had no idea what that might be. So I just started applying to places I knew were likely to only hold daytime hours and not work weekends or holidays. And that, my friends, is how I found myself with a career in dentistry. It was really just that simple. But the time in between, knowing that I wanted a change and actually making the change, that was the hard part. That was what really felt awful and really put a lot of fear in my heart. But I just listened to myself and I trusted that it was the right thing. And you know what? It absolutely was the right thing. The influencers I found myself surrounded with helped shape who I am today. I feel like I hold myself to a higher standard because the bar was so high around me. It exposed me to experiences that I never dreamed possible. I grew immensely in that environment, and entering the field of dentistry was hands down one of the best decisions I have ever made for myself. It's what taught me how to truly and fully be of service to others. The second example? Well, this one was more complicated than just changing jobs. How many of you lovely listeners know that I have been married more than once? Yep. True story. Not a secret, just doesn't come up much. I was far too young and naive to have ever made the decision to marry. Wasn't long before I found myself knowing I was 100% not where I was supposed to be. And this was a much bigger deal than changing where I clocked in at. This was surrounded by fear and shame, embarrassment, guilt, and a whole lot more. But as the saying goes, the right decision is often the hardest one. There was an absolute sea of uncertainty before me, and I felt completely inadequate as a human. But I dug through, and I pulled through, and I walked forward, which I know now is proof that I was still maintaining a positive outlook. The truth is, leaving that relationship was the first time I did what I knew was best for me instead of what everyone around me expected me to do. I felt 100% right. But still, the challenges were everywhere, and things felt hopeless. This was a major in-between time in my life, not just because of my relationship status, but in who I was evolving into as a person. It really is amazing the things you learn about yourself when you're hovering in those uncharted places. And hey, friends, this is not just me over here telling you what you should be doing. I'm in it with you. In fact, if you've been listening, you might have come to notice these weekly visits with me are always somehow relevant to my own heavy or abundant plate. I'm absolutely back in that uncomfortable place in life right now, that holding place that is both uncertainty and indecision, and it's a really gross place to be. But I know that if I just keep going, keep doing what resonates with my heart and feels intentional and purposeful, I'll grow right into the next level of my evolution. My path will become illuminated. Some people might say that they wish that they could just see what was ahead, but I actually don't want that crystal ball. I think it would lessen the journey. It would mute the sounds my soul needs to hear. The journey is the most important part. It's where growth happens. It's where you learn what you're made of. It's like running a marathon. You can't go through the finish chute unless you've traveled the 26.2 miles to reach it. Much love to you, my friends. I hope that you're trusting your own journeys and your own paths. I hope you trust that you will find purpose and intention, that your path too will be illuminated, and soon it will all just become crystal clear. Until next time, loves.